activity idea is focusing on crossing midline. So I'm going to show you just a bunch of activities that might help promote that. With our little ones, sometimes it's hard, so you have to think outside of the box a little bit and just provide experiences that might encourage them to cross midline. One of them might be just even how you position things. So if you were working at a table, you might have two containers and you would put them, and I'm going to put them a little closer together just for the camera's sake, but you might put them side by side on the table and have the kids put one thing into another container. So just how you position things. So you could have, maybe they're playing with blocks, or their sorting activities. So you could have like a red container on one side of the table and a blue container on the other side of the table, and then you could put a bunch of blocks in the middle, and you can have them sort the blocks. So they would put, and you might have to have, like a picture of a red container or a picture of red block on the container, but then they could put the red ones in one side and then they could put the blue ones in the other. For kids that are crossing midline, you might see that they'll actually reach over. Other kids might have a little bit of trouble with this, so they might reach for the left side. They might pick it up and put it in the left container, or if it's on the right side, they might pick it up with their right hand. So what you could do at that time is you could just kind of gently hold their hands or have them sit on one of their hands, and then that way they have to cross midline to go to the container. Kids also just like to empty and put blocks into one container, and then you can have them move to another. You could have a race for like the older kids. You could see how fast they could move from one container to another. So that's just one idea of something that you could do with containers. You can also just, this is an added fine motor. This is just like a Gatorade container, but you can use many things. But I just cut like an X in the top of it, and then that way they actually have to, and you could have one container that's open like this, and then one container that has the X, and they can reach in, so they're crossing midline there, and then they can put it into the container, and they can just kind of keep reaching over, so you're getting that repetitiveness. Again, you might have to hold hands, because you might see kids pick up the block, put it into their right hand, and then put it in. So you might just have to get creative with how you do that. Or you could put a sock on their left hand so that they only have to use the right, and just tell them you're going to have a race, or vice versa. You could put the sock on the right hand and have them just do it with their left. But again, working on that crossing midline, which is just really important for eye-hand coordination, as well as, when we read, we look at the left side of the paper and we follow across to the right side. When we write, we look at the left side and we follow to the right side. Speaking of paper, another activity you can do is a lazy 8. So I have just an 8 laying on its side. That's an activity. And then even just doing a rainbow too. So if you had a large piece of paper on the wall and you had kids start on one side of the paper and just draw like a rainbow. So you could have kids take turns making the lines and making a rainbow. Or for the older kids, you could have them trace the lazy 8. And I would have them do it with both hands. First trace with the right hand, then trace with the left hand. And if that's tough, you can actually have them use like a bigger marker and trace with both hands. But again, we're still working on getting both sides of the body coordinated. Another activity is you could, this is just like printer tape. So you could have just one long piece of printer tape, and you could just have the kids draw on it. So they're going to automatically, because they have such a limited space to color on, they're going to automatically cross midline. So that's an idea. For some of our younger kids, you could also use this tape and you could have them put stickers on it. Again, working on the visual motor, there's just a small strip of paper versus a big strip of paper, so it'll just kind of hone in their skills a little bit, and then you could have them actually place stickers on and just have one long piece of paper in front of them. Another thing for some of our younger ones is you could actually put stickers on their sleeves, and then you could have them take the stickers off of there and put it onto a piece of paper. So again, they're crossing midline. You could put like the hair scrunchies that we used to wear in the 80s. You could put those on their arm and have them practice taking them off, and you could do different colors. You grab all the red ones and put them on, and you could work in your academics for sure. Just playing with blocks on the floor, you're going to notice, like especially if you have a container off to the side, or if the kids are in front of the container, maybe move it off to the side, but just indirectly they're going to be working on crossing midline. Putting shaving cream just on the tables. Number one, it's a really good table cleaner, but kids love to play in it. So you can have them just draw different shapes, and again, inadvertently they're going to cross midline. And then you could even work on having them wipe their own, hands off, so you could give them a paper towel and have them wipe it off, and again, they're going to work on that crossing midline. So just a couple of ideas. Using musical instruments is good, and then these are also just like clay ribbons, or you could get fabric scarves, and just having them dance to music would also inadvertently get them to cross midline. Thank you.